Hi, today let's talk about something a lot of people encounter but don't always recognize right away. That's when someone tells you what you want to hear rather than the truth. It can feel great in the moment, but over time it leaves you wondering, are they being genuine? Can I trust this person? Why would someone do this? Let's break it down. Some signs are easier to recognize than others, and for some, it may take you interacting with this person many times before you figure it out. That mostly they tell you what you want to hear. After we go over the signs, we'll talk about what type of person may want to do this. So let's start with an easy sign you could spot right away. That's over agreement. This happens when someone says yes to everything you say. It's like they're allergic to disagreement or have no ideas or preferences of their own. Let's say you comment, pineapple on pizza should be illegal. If they're over agreeing, they might respond, oh, totally. I don't know why anyone would eat that. But later you catch them happily devouring Hawaiian pizza. Over agreement often comes from a place of wanting to align with you, but it's not really authentic, is it? No matter what you say, that person keeps saying the same thing, like an echo. If you hang out with that person for more than a few minutes, you'll quickly notice this. Another sign of someone telling you want to hear, telling you what they think you want to hear is vagueness. That's when a person gives you surface level answers that sound supportive but don't really say anything. For instance, if you say, I'm thinking of quitting my job to travel, and they respond, that sounds amazing. But when you ask, what do you think about the risks? They say, oh, I'm sure it will work out. It's not helpful, is it? Often they're avoiding depth because they're unsure or don't want to upset you. Another reason someone might be vague when telling you what you want to hear is that they don't feel qualified or confident enough to give a meaningful answer. But they also don't want you to know that they feel that way about themselves. They're hiding their insecurity. If the person is not insecure, they'll just tell you, I don't know much about this topic, so my guess is as good as yours. Sometimes someone might be trying to manipulate you though. So an example of manipulative vagueness would be, let's say you ask for advice about a risky decision. You say, do you think I should invest in this new opportunity? And the manipulator will say, it sounds like it has a lot of potential. I mean, you are such a smart person. I trust you'll make the right choice. Notice they didn't evaluate the opportunity itself. They complimented you to make you feel good, but gave no real input or whatever you needed. You get the idea. I've got more. There's a whole bunch of more signs. But let me interrupt myself here to ask you if you like the information so far. Please give me the thumbs up to help YouTube know this is worth watching, and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I post the next video. I usually post once or twice per week. All my content is about becoming more relationship intelligent. Thank you in advance. Oh, and I now have a Buy Me Coffee tip button below in the description. If you feel inclined to support me that way, thank you for that too. All right, back to the topic at hand. Some people are not manipulators. They're just conflict avoidant. Conflict avoidant could be because they're afraid of rocking the boat. They'll agree with whatever you say. Imagine you ask, do you think I overreacted by yelling at my coworker? And they'll say, not at all. They probably deserve it. If you notice they seem uneasy or quickly change the subject, it might be because they're trying to sidestep the uncomfortable conversation altogether. Some people turn into chameleons, shifting positions. They change their opinion depending on who they're talking to. For example, they might tell you, moving across the country is such a brave and exciting decision. But later you hear them talking to someone else by saying, I think that move is too risky and not well thought out. Their lack of consistency often suggests they're trying to please everyone. Sometimes they even shift their position about something in the same conversation that they're having with you at this moment. If you're thinking aloud, let's say, and evaluating different options like, should I do this? They'll say, sure, it sounds great. Later in the conversation, you might say, I should probably do this other thing. They'll come back with complete approval again. So, from your perspective, it means they're just telling you what they think you want to hear. Watch for body language. Sometimes it gives people away. Have you ever shown someone, let's say, something you're working on or an idea of yours, and they say, oh, it's good, but their smile is tight, their tone is off, and they avoid eye contact? Words can lie, but body language often doesn't. If their nonverbal cues don't match their words, they might not be fully honest. You have to educate yourself about body language and get good at detecting these inconsistencies. But even on an instinctual level, if you pay attention to that person's reaction, you will feel that they're off. Flattery can also be a big sign. If someone constantly showers you with over-the-top compliments but never offers constructive feedback, they may be trying to stay in your good graces. Say you're writing a novel and they say, you're going to be famous, I just know it, without offering any real critique. So your natural inclination may be to ask for details, explanations, and specifics because somewhere inside of you, you detect the vagueness, avoidance, and flattery. But they resist when you ask for specifics. For instance, if you say, what did you think of my argument in today's meeting? And they reply, it was great, so convincing. But when you push further, like, what part stood out, they dodge with, oh, just the whole vibe was amazing. That resistance can be a clue that they're not being upfront. Then you try again. You say, what do you think I could have done better? And the answer they give you is again vague and no specifics, such as, no, you were totally fine. Your argument was good. People who tell you what you want to hear don't want you to ask for specifics because they don't want to get into things with you. If you ever feel like something is just off, even though the words sound right, trust that gut feeling. Maybe they say, you're totally ready for that leadership role, but there's hesitation in their voice or a lack of enthusiasm. Your intuition often picks up on what logic does not. I'm curious to know if you have someone in your life who's like this, always telling you what you want to hear. Share in the comments and why you think they do it. Let me give you my professional opinion on why do people do this. There are a few types of people who are prone to this behavior. Let's explore the main culprits. The first one is the people pleaser. Yay! The people pleaser avoids conflict like it's their job. They'll agree with everything you say because they're afraid of disappointing you. This comes from a deep need to be liked. So if you say, was I too harsh in the meeting? They'll probably respond, not at all, even if they actually think you're a bit over the top. Then the conflict avoider, who is kind of similar but slightly different. They're not just trying to please you, they're also trying to avoid their own discomfort. They might say, it's perfect as it is when you ask for feedback, not because they love it, but because giving honest feedback makes them anxious and they don't want to get in trouble somehow. Sometimes a good friend or your partner might say, oh, I love this restaurant too, even though they secretly dislike it just to keep the peace. Other times they may not want to hurt the relationship or don't want to hurt your feelings. But then there's the manipulator. A manipulator has an entirely different agenda. They're not avoiding conflict, they're trying to get something from you. And to do that, they need you to like and trust them. They might say, you are the best person for this project. Not because they believe it, but because they want you to take on work that benefits them. People who want to manipulate you often tell you what you want to hear in a vague way to maintain flexibility and control over the situation. By being vague, they avoid confrontation and committing to specifics, which allows them to shift their position later if it benefits them or if they get caught in a lie. A specific type of manipulator is the opportunist. They're calculating. They tell you what you want to hear because they think it will help them climb socially, professionally, or somehow in other ways benefit them. They show up when you have something they want or the means to get it. They might shower you with compliments in meetings or in social settings while you're there, but when you're not around, they don't back you up. It's like you don't exist. Everything they do is just a show for you. The overly empathic people, on the other hand, genuinely care about your feelings, maybe too much. They might avoid telling you the truth because they hate the idea of hurting you. If you ask, am I ready for this opportunity? They'll say, of course, even if they have doubts because they want to protect you and your feelings. But then there's the short-term thinker. The short-term thinker just doesn't want to deal with awkwardness in the moment. They just don't want to deal with whatever is going on. They might say, yeah, totally, when asking if your idea makes sense, but it's more about ending the conversation quickly than giving you real feedback. They just want to move on, do something else. So for people in your life who are telling you what you want to hear out of fear of rejection or hurting your relationship or your feelings in some way, or if they feel insecure in some way, it can help to create a space where the other person feels safe being honest. You might say something like, I really value your opinion, even if it's different from mine. I will not be upset. That reassurance can go a long way towards fostering more authentic interactions. On the other hand, the nefarious bunch who want something from you and are manipulating you to get it should be avoided. As soon as you have doubts, that's what's happening. Share your concerns with a friend and see if you can figure things out just by talking it out. You can also test them by asking for specifics, drilling deeper. They will try to wiggle out, will stay vague, and may even turn it around, blaming you for not being nice or asking why you're giving them such a hard time. Stay away from these people. That's all I have for today. Like and subscribe to make my day. Buy me a coffee. I'm glad you made it this far with me, and thank you for watching. See you next time.